Hello, my name is Ben and I'm with Hex Bros. I'm the designer of this CNC laser. The reason I designed this CNC laser is I purchased less expensive Chinese made lasers, and I found that I had issues with skipping steps and basically ruining projects because the cheap components that are put into some of these CNC lasers make them not as accurate. And you run the risk of ruining parts. And parts in some cases are material and cost a lot of money. So I wanted to design a CNC laser that was powerful, accurate, and also could utilize different laser heads, which we'll get to in a bit. So this CNC laser is equipped with 92 inch-ounce stepper motors, NEMA 17 stepper motors. In fact, those are the largest NEMA 17 stepper motors that you can buy. A little overkill, but what you get when you use larger motors in this application is high accuracy and no skipped steps. You won't have issues with projects being ruined because of cheap, inexpensive, low torque stepper motors. The machine is equipped with an air pump. More on that later as well. So what I have on here right now is a Neje, N-E-J-E, 20 watt laser head. And this I designed to be able to use different laser heads from different manufacturers. In fact, that's why there's this connection right here. The whole frame and chassis is made of aluminum. This is 5082 aluminum that's machined. The handles are nice for being able to carry the machine around, relocating it. This wasteboard can be easily removed. So if you have a larger project, a tabletop or whatever, and you can bring the machine to the project rather than bringing the project to the machine, like a larger CNC like this that's stationary. So you pull the wasteboard out, and now I can readjust my focal point. I'll go over that. And then I can laser onto this surface that's underneath if I wanted to. The wasteboard is just that. It's a wasteboard. It's a sacrificial plate that I don't care if I make a mess on. In fact, here's an older one that I had used just through testing and stuff with this machine. And you can see that that's it. It's a wasteboard. This machine will come equipped with a spare wasteboard. Just in case this one gets chewed up. I mentioned that this machine can utilize different lasers. So this is a 20 watt Neje laser. This is a 30 watt Neje laser. So that can be added onto this machine, as well as this one. This is an 80 watt laser made by a different manufacturer. And so all you have to do in order to swap out the laser is closer look. I'm going to loosen this mount, slide this out, disconnect. Now, if I'm going to use the other Neje laser, I would just simply plug this in and plug that wire in. Or I've designed a mount that uses this Neje aluminum mount for the 80 watt laser, and then you plug it in like that. So it's compatible with different lasers, different laser manufacturers. I'm selling the machine with this 20 watt laser head. Let's talk about the focusing. So you can use a fixture maybe against the bottom of the body here, like a spacer, if you will. And you can just, let me see, loosen this. I'll install the laser head. oops, and you know, temporarily tighten this down so it holds its position in terms of elevation. I'll plug this thing back in and plug it into the back of the laser. That's it. Something that's important with any laser is eye protection. There's radiation that's emitted. This is important. So of course this laser will be supplied with a set of glasses. So I'm gonna put these on now. On the software, I'm using Lightburn. I can go to my move and I'll hit my fire button. So the laser just turned on. Now you're probably not gonna be able to see this that well in the video, but that's just because it's a camera. You don't have a lens. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower this, and what I'm looking at is the focal point on the material itself. And I can kind of dial it in very easily by just doing this, by manipulating the height. I'm looking through my glasses, and this is a low power. This is 0.25% of the laser power. So that's it, I'm done. I now set it to this height, and I'm going to now run it a little bit so you can see some of the speed. And the speed comes from the high torque stepper motors. You would never be able to run this speed on a less expensive machine because it doesn't have these NEMA 17 motors on it. For this demonstration, I'm going to turn the laser off, and I'm just going to run a high-speed toolpath. So this is the travel speed of the machine, which is 15,000 millimeters per minute. So 1.5 meters per minute. Sorry, 15 meters per minute. It's quite fast. And the beautiful thing about it is no missed steps. In fact, it can go twice as fast as this, but just to preserve the safety of the machine and the user, I've slowed it down. So this is its maximum speed. In fact, this is the travel speed. It has a work area in the X of 9 inches and a work area in the Y of 9.25 inches. I'll go ahead and stop that. So it didn't like that. I kind of stopped it pretty abruptly, but that's okay. So I'm gonna flip this wasteboard over and just let it run while I keep talking. What I'm gonna do is change to slower, much slower. I'll turn the laser on. That's what this switch is in the back. Here we go. So that's just gonna do the grid on the back end of the wasteboard, just like I have on the front. This is 500 millimeters per minute. And 500 millimeters per minute is gonna give a deep groove. I can actually catch that on my fingernail. It's cutting into the wood, but not very deep. I can do the same thing as that with one of these other motors, much faster. I mean, the difference in cost is significant. This, just the laser head itself, it kind of ranges depending on when you buy it. It could be $50 to $100. This 30-watt laser here could be anywhere from $75 to $125. And this laser here is $300. So again, I'm selling the machine with this 20-watt laser equipped with it. Unless you want to spend more money, I will sell you one of these other laser heads rather than the 20-watt laser, or if you want in addition to it. So what can you do with a 20-watt laser that you, what can you do with these that you can't do with that? This you can cut. This 80-watt laser, for example, these, this is the same plywood. This is 5 millimeter thick plywood. I was able to cut these in one pass. And in fact, it was just a reference. It was 1/2 the speed that is running right now. And you know, it's incredible. Other things you can engrave with the 80-watt laser would be glass. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, maybe with the light behind it. So this was some testing I was doing. Is a broken piece of glass, and you can see that this engraving I was able to do onto glass. You can't really do that with this 20-watt laser onto glass. There's just not enough energy. Same with the 30-watt laser. There's just not enough power that comes out of that. But what you can do with it is engrave. So, you know, you could do some sort of engraving like this, or this was a Google image that I grabbed, and it can do images like this, or portraits of people or landscapes. Sky's the limit. If you're just looking to do engraving onto leathers or some flooring or plastics, some plastics, this is the right laser. But if you want to do cutting, like I cut these out with that 80-watt laser, you're going to need a little bit more power. I have successfully cut through material like this with this particular laser, but it took a lot of passes and it took a really long time. So, you know, if I didn't have a CNC machine like this larger one that this laser is sitting on, I'd go to like a Michaels or a Joann Fabrics or something like that, and I would just get like pre-made pieces of wood, like a plaque or something, and then I could like laser engrave that, and there you go. So the air pump, of course, comes with the machine, and I flip this switch and it turns it on. It's pretty quiet. Most of the noise you're hearing is the actual air. And I have this hose. So I hook this hose up to it, and now I can basically air assist the laser. I could do it manually like this. I could literally tape this onto the machine or make a mount, whatever. This copper tubing is very flexible and pliable, so you can, you know, move it to wherever you want to get into certain areas. This isn't not necessary if you're doing engraving like this, right? Or like what it's doing right now. You don't need the air assist. The air assist is only required if you're going to be trying to cut through a thin material, like this material, with this 20-watt laser. And what it does, it basically, like what it's doing right now is literally burning the wood, right? And so it's going to basically blow the burnt embers out of that groove that I could run my fingernail in right now. And once it blows that out, when the laser comes back around for another pass, it's going to penetrate deeper into the wood. So if you're trying to do cutting with thin material like this, then that's where you would need the air assist. But in most cases, I haven't used it, especially when you start getting into the more powerful lasers like this 80-watt laser. This kind of has a built-in air assist. It's pretty cool. It's this fan blows down through, which cools the laser head itself. And then there's a built-in kind of nozzle. And the nozzle funnels that airflow right into the impingement point of your laser. And yeah, you don't require the air assist because it's kind of built into it. This one also has a fan, but it doesn't have that nozzle feature to blow that right at the impingement point of the laser. So it's not as effective. It's basically no maintenance on this machine. The only thing that you might do is check the belt tensioning, which, I mean, you could run this for hundreds of hours and you wouldn't have any issues with the belt tension. But it's pretty simple. You would just tighten this lock nut right here, and that pulls tension on the belt. I use Lightburn. Lightburn doesn't come with the machine because it's something that you have to purchase separate from the machine. Lightburn, the edition that I'm using, it's $60. It's a one-time fee. It's not a subscription, which is great. The guys who develop Lightburn have done an amazing job It's very intuitive. It's very easy to use. In fact, if you have no experience whatsoever at all with CNC machines or lasers, it's wicked easy. And in fact, if you purchase this machine, I would be happy to walk you through a sort of training on how to use Lightburn. As the designer of the machine, like I mentioned earlier, if there's issues with it, I have a business card I can provide you with. I do build CNC machines as my business. So if you have issues with, I had an update. My computer was updating and I was connected to the machine and it wiped out my machine settings. So I had to go in and kind of reprogram that. I've had this machine here for a long time. I've never had anything like that happen. It's not something I would expect to ever happen, but if you did, you can contact me. I can help you walk through fixing that. If you have issues with parts, spare parts, whatever you might need, whether it's belts, pulleys, bearings, whatever, you can always reach me. I can help you either, provide you with the parts that you need, or I can share with you where to purchase them yourself. That's pretty much all I have to share. Again, my name is Ben Meyer. I'm with Hex Bros. Hex Bros is the machine design company. We custom build machines, CNC machines, automated machines. Basically, sky's the limit. If you have any questions about this CNC laser, please feel free to contact me. Again, if you are interested in the laser, I will be willing to give you a demonstration and training session. If you're interested in purchasing one of the other laser heads in addition to the laser, I'd be happy to help you with that as well. Thank you for your time.